welcome back to another episode of After the Epilogue, a book podcast. From our yearly reading wrap-ups to our opinions on popular books, we are centered around anything and everything book-related. So if you're a reader, like us, make sure to stay tuned.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Maya.
Today, we are talking about the Red, White, and Royal Blue movie, because I think we already did a review on the book.
We did.
So this is going to be the review on the movie, which came out a day that was August something.
It came out early, which we didn't appreciate.
Yeah, well.
Because we had plans.
Okay, well,
but
first we're going to start with how... Okay, this is a hotly discussed topic, but we're going to talk about how faithful it was to the book, and what changes were made, and what changes weren't made, stuff like that. So
yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
Some of the scenes that were in the movie that were also in the book.
Yeah.
What would have been your favorite that you were glad to see represented?
The closet scene. The closet scene was
the closet
really
scene was good, and it was well done.
Yeah,
it was well done.
I think it's so hard to not talk about other things while bringing up the closet scene, like, because I feel like the casting shows so much strength in that scene. You can see their dynamic, and it's beautiful. Well done. It was just so cute, and it was really faithful to the book, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it, so when someone started shooting up the hospital, I was like, whoa, what is happening? Did they make this an action movie? And then I realized it was the guy who brought the balloons. So yeah, what about you?
My favorite would probably be when he shows up at, like, the palace, and it's raining, and he's trying to get Henry back.
And he goes, I will not choose between... What's the TikTok audio?
Oh, or them dancing in the museum was so cute.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah. There were a lot of good moments.
And then some changes that were made were everybody's favorite character, Miguel Ramos. Everybody loves him so much.
No, we
I've
don't.
seen nothing but love for him. It was just like, why? You know?
They tried to combine, like, 3 different characters into one, and it was not it. I didn't like him being at the bar, because I thought, and, like, I have so many thoughts about Miguel Ramos and questions, but they're too deep, as in I can't form them into words.
Okay.
But why was he at the bar? Because what made the bar scene so special was, like, Alex was in this place alone, distraught, sad, depressed, and then Henry shows up out of nowhere. But then Henry was there, and Miguel was there, and it was just like...
It's just, I don't understand why they tried to make him, like, the Antichrist, you know, like, all the bad things about Red, White, and Royal Blue into one character, but it doesn't work like that.
Not at all.
So, like, and people are probably wondering, not people, the production people are probably wondering, like, why does everybody hate him? What do you mean, why does everybody hate him? He was added for no reason, completely character, wasn't even mentioned in the books. Okay, so where was Alex's roommate? Because that was his previous gay relationship, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word.
There was so much, I feel Alex lost so much depth. We got more depth from Henry, because the story is obviously told in Alex's perspective, but we lost a lot of what makes Alex Claremont Diaz so special.
Like his divorced parents.
Also, like, I didn't cry. Like, there were moments in the book where I, like, wanted to cry, but I didn't cry for real until they won the election.
Okay, yeah.
Until they turned Texas blue. Because just the moment of having, like, this female president, and, like, the odds were against her in so many ways. They were against her, they were against Alex, they were against Henry. And I think we lost so much depth from Ellen's character. Now she's in this happy relationship.
She's just a happy gal, you know?
Yeah, she's just a happy little gal. And then Alex is an only child, which is just weird.
Why?
Like, what? Okay.
I don't like it.
I didn't like that. What I did find funny and very entertaining is, one, their social media marketing was so good for the movie.
Oh my god.
Like, there is a reason it's #1 on Prime. Like, their marketing was so good.
The Instagram accounts
Are
with the
so
private
cute.
stories. It just, we weren't on the private story, obviously.
It was sad.
But, like, it made me want to be more involved with the marketing of the movie, which was really smart on their part.
It was so smart, and, like, they've continued posting since the movie came out. But what they did and what we found really funny is when they originally launched the account, you could tell they were soft launching all of the changes. Because there were, like, 4 posts about Alex's parents being together, and we were like, what is this?
It's like, look, guys, my parents are so happy they're in a healthy relationship.
What do you think my parents are watching? Look at my wonderful family. There's no June in sight. It was really entertaining. And they did a really good job.
The most entertaining part about that, though, was the comments in the Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, okay, so what they did was, before the movie came out, they made the Instagram, like, before Alex was out, like, before he came out. And then after the movie released, he was out with Henry. Like, it was after the events of the movie, which was awesome for me. I thought that was really cool. But basically, before the movie came out, people would be commenting in the post, and they were like, why are you gripping on Henry's arm so hard? Like, you're scared you're going to lose him or something? And it was so funny.
The comments were really funny. It was a really good marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And I salute them. We talked about advertising books with the covers.
Yeah.
And they advertised that movie well, especially considering the SAG-AFTRA strike and, like, the actors weren't able to do anything in present time. I missed the Cornetto scene.
Okay, but we got it. We didn't
get in the movie.
But they released a clip of
the Cornetto scene. They did release it. And I appreciated that.
And they said they released it, or they didn't add it in the movie because of pacing.
Yeah.
It was like they had so much tension, and the Cornetto scene kind of released that tension. But I feel like if I were the director, thank you very much, I would add the Cornetto scene because it shows that they aren't just a couple with, like, sexual tension, but also lots of emotional intimacy. You know, because they were just able to be themselves. But in the scenes prior to that, it was all just physical attraction, which is something we talked about in our regular episode, which was a big deal for them not being able to be emotionally intimate, but able to be physically intimate. So, yeah.
Speaking of the pacing, I was really disappointed to learn there wasn't a 3-hour cut.
I know. Everyone was coming up with these rumors, and everyone's like, release the 3-hour cut, release the 3-hour cut, Lord of the Rings version, you know, like the extended edition. But that's not a thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's your first time hearing about it, but the director said there was no 3-hour cut ever.
It was sad.
It was really sad. But speaking of cuts, they did cut a lot of things. Like we talked about not Henry's parents, Alex's parents.
Well, Henry's mom wasn't there.
Henry's mom, who was mentioned, but just not alive.
Which was quite disappointing.
I mean, she was alive in the movie, but not
she
present.
wasn't present, and I thought that was a big thing at the end, too. Was
Yeah,
that
'cause
arc with
she
his
stood
mom
up.
coming back, yeah.
Oh,
Stood up for love,
power of love.
which is something I
Love
feel
is
she wished.
indomitable.
Yes!
I know my quotes.
History, huh?
Anyways, so they cut out Alex's parents, they cut out the lesbians, all the lesbians, which, okay, they're not lesbians, but like...
Well, there were lesbians.
Which lesbians?
The security guard lady had a wife.
Oh, that was mentioned, I thought, no? Just
Probably.
her dogs. No, I don't
Oh,
think it was.
yeah, her dogs were mentioned.
Her dog was
That
mentioned.
was funny.
What was her name? It was a security guard on the plane.
Is it
and he
Amy?
goes, do you want to see pictures of my dog?
Yeah,
And he
that's
goes,
cute.
yeah, and it was really cute. I liked that.
Yeah.
But where
there
was
were
her
a
wife?
lot of cute moments.
All the sapphic relationships taken out, though. Because there was no June and Nora?
But that's in the epilogue anyway.
But still.
Yeah.
And the security guard, I don't know. I just wish there was more representation like there was in the book. I think that's what made the book so good, was the amount of representation that we got.
Mm-hmm.
And then half of it was cut out in the movie. And it was more of just a romance story. And I know a lot of people didn't like the politics in the book, but I thought that was one of the best parts, and it wasn't as focused on in the movie.
That's one of the reasons I liked it so much. And I think that's the thing that makes Red, White, and Royal Blue so important, is because Alex has this hope that I think if we rally around a cause and there is actually a possibility good can come out of it. And I think in this world, when it's so polarizing and messed up and we're not compromising and agreeing, it's so important to keep that hope. And that's what I think. I think I had lost hope for a really long time in this nation.
Yeah.
And seeing Alex's hope helps me have a slight bit of hope.
And there wasn't a lot of Alex's hope in the movie, which I was sad. And then they also caught out Henry's anxiety.
Yep.
Like, we see kind of signs of it with him twisting his ring, but, like, that could, that's not representation for his problems. But I do understand how that might be hard to show in, like, the movie format especially. We missed Henry's The Archer moment, except for his one moment where he's crying, and it's been clipped like 3,000 times.
Yeah.
Speaking of movie-only aspects, like Henry's crying scene and the quote about prisons.
There were a lot of good quotes that weren't in the book.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed them.
Like Alex Claremont Diaz's name, Henry's name, which was moved, it was changed.
Hanover Stewart, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. And I guess there's some historical significance, so I support. But it still throws me off.
It was changed because it was too close to the, like, royal family's actual last name.
Probably. Which makes sense.
I guess so, but, like, they're gonna name him after a gay king anyways, so. Okay, the Red Room scene, I feel like we have to talk about that kind of briefly after they got caught. And
it is so cute.
Favorite scene. Me and Maya replayed it
dying laughing.
Twice or 3 times?
Yeah, a lot.
Who came in? It was
Is it Amy? Is
sure.
her name Amy?
We're gonna say Amy. Amy came in and she caught them and Henry goes, huh? And he starts looking at the books. It's so cute, and I thought it was so funny. And in the movie, in the book, we don't see a lot of Henry's side of things, and I feel like even if it was just that silly little moment, it kind of showed that he wasn't this prissed up prince.
Yeah. I did enjoy seeing more of Henry. Mm-hmm. I think Henry has he's such an emotional character.
Yeah.
And such a complex guy. And we don't overly get to see that besides Alex trying to figure out the small parts of him throughout the novel. And I think the epilogue shows that really well.
Yeah.
And the movie adding more of his perspective also did a really good job showing that part of Henry. And the casting was great.
Okay, yeah, I know we dogged on the casting, but like...
Mostly you. I held out some hope.
Okay, yeah, but
I support Alex.
I dogged on the casting a lot, but that was because we hadn't watched Handsome Devil. So
true.
Before we watched the movie, we watched Handsome Devil.
And Kissing Booth 2.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't need to talk about that part. We watched Handsome Devil, which is, if you don't know, a movie with, how do you say his last name? Nicholas Galitzine? Sure. He's the main character in, and it was probably one of my favorite movies I've ever watched in a long, long, long time, probably ever. And after watching that movie, me and Maya were speechless. And we were like, oh no, we have to watch Red, White, and Royal Blue after this. And it kind of ruined and lowered our, or I guess not lowered, hired our expectations for the movie, raised for Red, White, and Royal Blue, because we had just watched this great movie where Nicholas is an amazing actor. Mm-hmm. And he's in so many things which I never knew about. So, again, I want to apologize directly to Nicholas because I dogged on his acting in Purple Hearts, and I realize now that that was wrong with me.
Shame on you.
I'm sorry. And then
Handsome Devil, though, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yes. I wouldn't say Red, White, and Royal Blue is a 10 out of 10. We'll get to that later. But Handsome Devil, perfect score. It's so good.
It's like so Dead Poets Society, except better.
Except Irish, I think. Or not Irish.
There's like one Irish character.
British. Yeah, the main character's Irish. The rest are all British.
Yeah. I forget they're American in Dead Poet Society.
They are.
They should be British.
I know. Anyways, yeah. It's really good. And,
Taylor. The Car Perez.
yes, Taylor in Kissing Booth, he was a silly guy.
He's a silly guy. I feel Taylor's the Car Perez is very Alex coded. And he did Alex really well. And he was getting dogged on TikTok. And I felt bad for the guy because he was doing his job.
He played Alex.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't like him, you don't
like Alex.
Yeah. Because he is, I feel like he didn't even have to act, except for, no, he just didn't have to act. He was himself on the scene and it worked so well.
Henry is supposed to have that emotional depth. But then Alex is kind of the opposite. He's emotionally immature, and over the course of the novel, he gains that maturity, and learns and grows.
And that's why he doesn't know he's gay until the end of the novel.
Except I guess he did, because
he didn't know. Okay, just because he had an affair. That's not an affair.
Miguel,
did he? No, he didn't, because he found out in the movie.
I don't feel he did.
He didn't know he was gay. He goes, "I'm bi," and then Nora. I didn't do enough research for this. Nora is like walking him through it in that one scene where the person walks in. Remember?
Yeah.
So he doesn't know he's gay in the movie.
But like in the book, it was like he didn't even realize him and Liam like had a thing at all. But, like, in the movie, he was like, oh, yeah, I've been with two men before.
Yeah. Because, which kind of ruined it, too. Again, with that representation thing, I feel like it's important, especially for bisexual people. And another reason I think Nick Nelson is such an important character is when he's talking about his past sexuality, he's like, I didn't know. Like, a lot of gay people in media and representation are always like, I've always known. But characters like Alex and Nick Nelson having that unsure attitude about it adds a lot of representation and was really important to me. Do we want to talk about the soundtrack?
Yes, always.
Okay, so your thoughts first.
Low-key, I liked it. Like, it wasn't... What movie had a good soundtrack that we watched? Was it Handsome Devil?
Handsome
Devil had a great soundtrack. Red, White, and Royal Blue had a good soundtrack. Though we watched it and we were like, this is a fine movie. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
But then we were seeing all the edits to Taylor Swift songs and we were like, what movie is this? Because I want to watch that.
It would have been so much better.
It needed Taylor Swift.
Like everything does, okay?
So real.
It couldn't... They're so Taylor Swift coded. They're the most Taylor Swift coded characters I've ever met.
Yeah.
London Boy, Miss Americana.
We have a Taylor Swift. We have a Red, White, and Royal Blue playlist, which is basically a Taylor Swift
Literally
playlist.
just all Taylor Swift.
Pretty much. And songs from all albums. Like,
yeah.
They are Taylor Swift.
Everything about them. And I think another part of what made me love the book so much was because I was listening to Taylor Swift while I was reading. And when the Archer came on during Henry's sad scene, I cried my eyes out. In the book.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not in the movie. And just one Taylor Swift song, like London Boy at the intro, I felt like would have just been so much better.
But we got to see a Taylor Swift dress.
On Princess B.
Yeah.
So, if you guys don't know, B in the scene where they're walking...
At the wedding, right?
I think it's, yes. Where they're walking down with Henry. She's wearing Taylor Swift's dress from, I think, the Bad Blood music video. I'm not sure. It's one of her music videos, and I liked the ode to it, but I wish she would have had a song. I guess they just didn't have the budget for it.
I was glad we got to see Nicholas singing Queen.
Oh, I was really happy about that.
And it's not the first time he's sung Queen.
No, it's not. Cinderella.
Which I haven't seen.
Was it Don't Stop Me Now?
He sang Don't Stop Me Now in Red, White, and Royal Blue.
What did he sing in?
Somebody to Love.
Somebody to Love. They're both really good, and I like Nicholas singing Queen, and I need more of it.
Yes.
I like Nicholas
singing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need more of it.
Please, Nicholas, sing all the time.
Sing for me? Yeah.
You know what we haven't talked about?
What haven't we talked about?
David the Beagle.
What about him?
I didn't expect him to show up. And we got to see him.
You didn't. I felt like that was a very important thing.
It was important to me.
You just didn't think they were going to add it to the movie?
Well, we didn't even have June. Like,
that's true.
Why would we include
Why
the
did we
random
have
Beagle?
David the Beagle but not June?
But we had David the Beagle, and so we celebrate.
That was also like a big... Did they mention that it was a reference to David Bowie in the movie?
Mm-hmm. Because then he was like, oh, you surprised me. Is there anything I've surprised you about? And he was like, no. So, should we rate it?
Yes, okay. So to rate the movie, I don't want to be too harsh. Like I said earlier, it's a fine movie.
Mm-hmm. I need to rewatch it.
I need to rewatch it. It would have been better if it had a better soundtrack, so that takes a few points off. And if the pacing was a little slower, if they spent more time focusing on their relationship, I feel like in the book it was easy for them to do romance and politics, but for the movie it was too much for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were trying to focus on politics and romance when honestly I would rather them focus a lot on one subject rather than the other. So it was too fast. Every single scene, it felt a little rushed. And it wasn't like the rushed, like, they're not building emotional intimacy. It's just, you didn't feel it as much as the books. And obviously it's never going to be the same. And I don't want to be too much of a critic, but I think I give it like a 3 out of 5 for those reasons.
I'm also going to give it a 3 out of 5. Mm-hmm. But I think in the book was also very rushed because that's kind of how their relationship was and had to be. And I think that's an important thing to consider. But it just wasn't explained as well and hit as hard in the movie because you didn't have that way to explain it and the why. And I thought the politics aspect was kind of the why. And we took that away.
Yeah.
Henry was just running, and then they were together, and then he was gone again. And then...
Yeah, it wasn't explained as well. You didn't get to see as deep into their mind, which is always the problem with these book-to-movie adaptations. But I was hoping it'd be different. Oh my god, and the texting scenes. We were so scared about the texting scenes and the emails.
I didn't think it was bad.
And how they were going to be... Okay, well, how they were going to be played out. Like, I didn't want it to be a voiceover. But it was... Oh my god. It was... He, like, just showed up, and they were, like, talking to each other, and then he faded out. So it was them emailing or them texting. It just, it was them also talking to each other in person. I don't know. For me, I felt a little weirded out by it, because they were just kind of like, yeah, you suck, LOL. Like, I don't know. It was awkward.
I low-key didn't hate it. I kind of liked it. But anyway, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, well, sure.
You have any other thoughts?
Nicholas is one of my favorite actors now. I love him.
That's so real.
He
has a song called Comfort.
Oh, yeah.
You should listen.
You should listen.
Because we've been listening.
I've listened.
Anyway.
Okay, I think that's it. Final closing thoughts?
No. I believe Taylor deserves some love, too. Thanks for listening to this episode of After the Epilogue. Check out at After the Epilogue podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And check out at The Song of Maddie on TikTok for updates and behind the scenes. After the Epilogue is hosted and produced by...
Madeline Glenn.
And by Ortiz. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was rough.
That was rough. That's okay.
We're all good.